Hello again, my friend. It's so good to have you here. Tonight, we're going to wander through some of the most gentle mysteries of existence, the quantum realm, where things behave in ways that feel almost like a dream. As you lie there in the quiet dark, imagine that the very particles around you are dancing softly, holding secrets. Now, let's settle in. Shift your body just a little. Find that perfect soft spot on your pillow. Let your breath become slow and deep, and allow your thoughts to drift like feathers on a breeze. Let's begin. In the next few minutes, I'll share with you 5 quiet facts about the quantum world, each one a delicate thought to carry you towards sleep. And if you happen to drift off before we're through, that's exactly the point. And if these little journeys into wonder help you find rest, then consider subscribing, and you'll always have a calm place to return to, whenever you need it. Now, let's drift into our first thought. Imagine 2 tiny particles, born together in a single event, now separated by vast cosmic distances. Yet, somehow, they remain linked in a silent, invisible dance. When something softly touches one, perhaps a measurement, a gentle query, its partner instantly responds, no matter how far apart they are. It's as if they are drifting together in a shared, timeless embrace across the entire universe, whispering secrets without a sound. This connection defies our usual sense of space, reminding us that at the deepest level, everything might be quietly, tenderly intertwined. A comforting thought as you rest here in the dark. Now, picture a single particle, not as a tiny point, but as a soft cloud of possibilities, spread out like morning mist over a quiet valley. This is superposition, the idea that until observed, a particle can exist in many states at once, as if it's floating through all its potential lives simultaneously. It's only when we cast a gentle, curious glance that it settles into one peaceful place, choosing a path from among the many, like a shy creature revealing itself only in stillness. This quiet act of observation feels almost sacred, a tender collaboration between the universe and our awareness. Let that idea carry you softly into deeper relaxation. Light itself holds a beautiful secret. It can behave as a solid particle, a tiny grain of energy, and also as a flowing wave, spreading like a ripple across a still pond. And so does everything else, matter too, dances this ancient rhythm. This wave-particle duality suggests that all things, even you, possess a quiet, rhythmic vibration, a subtle hum beneath the silence. Imagine your own body as a gentle wave, drifting and pulsing with the slow rhythm of the cosmos. Every atom in you is a note in a serene, eternal melody. That soft hum is always there, whether you notice it or not. There's a mysterious ability some particles have, to pass right through a barrier that should by all classical rules be impassable. It's as if they float through a ghost-like wall, appearing on the other side without ever breaking through. This is quantum tunneling. And it's not just an abstract wonder, it's what lets our sun shine. Deep in the sun's heart, particles tunnel through energy walls they couldn't otherwise overcome, and their gentle union releases the warm, golden light that eventually spills across our days. So the very light that warms your skin is born from a quiet, impossible passage. How lovely, to think that impossibility is woven into the fabric of everything. Finally, we come to a profound truth. At the smallest scales, nature keeps a soft secret. The Heisenberg uncertainty principle tells us we can never know both the exact position and the exact momentum of a particle at the same time. There is always a gentle blur, a tender fog of uncertainty at the heart of matter. It's not a flaw in our instruments, it's a fundamental feature of reality. The universe itself prefers a certain quiet mystery, a hiddenness that can never be fully unveiled. As you lie here in the peaceful unknown of the night, perhaps that's a comforting thought, that mystery is not a lack, but a gentle embrace, holding everything together. Consider the delicate nature of a quantum system, a realm where particles exist in a soft cloud of possibility, a state we call superposition. But this state is as fragile as a dew-kissed spiderweb at dawn. Quantum decoherence is the gradual process where this dreamlike condition slowly frays as the system brushes against the surrounding world. Imagine a vivid, story-filled dream, the colors and emotions so real, and then the first gentle light of morning begins to seep through the curtains. The dreamscape doesn't shatter, it just quietly, tenderly fades, the magic dissolving into the steady, predictable rhythm of a waking day. The quantum system, much like the dreamer, lets go of its many overlapping narratives, one by one, until only a single calm thread of reality remains, wrapped in the warmth of the familiar. And yet, even in what we perceive as the deepest, most perfect emptiness, this quiet magic persists. The vacuum of space, far from being a silent void, is actually humming with a hidden, gentle energy. It's populated by virtual particles, fleeting pairs of matter and antimatter that drift into existence like tiny, luminous breath on a cold night, and then just as softly vanish, all in a fraction of a heartbeat. You might picture them as faint, shy fireflies winking on and off in a vast nocturnal meadow, there one moment and gone the next, borrowing the energy to exist from the very fabric of the cosmos. Their brief, silent dance ensures that empty air is never truly still, but forever quivers with a secret, invisible pulse. This curious, fleeting nature of being brings us to one of the most peaceful thought experiments ever imagined, a quiet story meant to illuminate the strangeness of superposition. Picture a cat, curled up comfortably in a sealed box, a place of perfect stillness and warmth. In the tender logic of quantum physics, until we gently lift the lid to look, the cat exists in a serene blur of possibility, both deeply asleep and calmly awake, wrapped in an indeterminate state, like a soft, purring riddle. It's not a puzzle to cause worry, but a gentle meditation on how our observation nurtures a single, quiet reality from the fog of potential, like the first light coaxing a single, vivid color from the dawn's gray uncertainty. Deeper still, moving into the very heart of the matter that weaves our world together, we find an invisible force at work with a tender, unyielding strength. Quantum chromodynamics describes the strong force, the gentle but firm hold that keeps the tiniest building blocks, called quarks, nestled together inside protons and neutrons. Imagine this force not as a rigid cage, but as an elastic ribbon woven from pure, unseen light. It stretches, it pulls, but it never breaks. These quarks are like tiny, vibrant beads on that silken thread, forever embraced, never alone. It's a secure and steady keep, a silent, faithful guardian, ensuring that the very foundation of all things remains cozy, whole, and profoundly stable. And underlying all of these delicate wonders, there is a tiny, almost sacred number that sets the scale for everything. Planck's constant is the minuscule value that defines the smallest possible packet of energy, the quiet pixel of the quantum world. It tells us that the universe does not unfold in a smooth, continuous slide, but rather in a series of soft, discrete steps, like the gentle, rhythmic patter of a resting heartbeat. This quantized heartbeat is the fundamental pulse of existence, a serene metronome that dances through every photon and every fleeting particle. It's a reminder that even the most fleeting interactions, the most hidden energies, are painted in the delicate, rhythmic strokes of a cosmos that breathes in small, tender packages. As we close our eyes and drift deeper into the quiet of the night, let's allow our minds to wander into a realm of gentle mystery, the hidden world of the very small, where things don't behave quite as we expect. Picture, if you will, two tiny particles, separated by the vast velvet distance of the universe, yet somehow they remain connected, as if holding hands across the cosmos. Quantum entanglement suggests a soft, invisible thread between them, a tender link where the state of one instantly shimmers into the other, regardless of how far apart they drift. Albert Einstein, with a whisper of wonder, called this spooky action at a distance, a phrase that captures the hushed magic of it, a connection that seems to transcend the familiar boundaries of time and space, like two old friends who can sense each other's thoughts from opposite ends of the earth, wrapped in a silent, moonlit understanding. And if you think of that quiet connection, you might also imagine something even stranger, the dreamy state of a particle before it's noticed. In the serene realm of quantum superposition, a tiny particle doesn't settle into one place or condition. It exists in a soft, unfocused haze of all possible states at once, like a melody that hovers in the air before a note is chosen. This idea is captured in the thought experiment of Schrödinger's cat, a gentle paradox where, until we softly peek, the cat is both asleep and awake, cradled in a cocoon of possibilities. It's a reminder that, in the hidden corners of reality, the universe holds its breath, waiting for the tender touch of observation to bring things into focus, like a story that weaves itself only when you begin to listen. Now, let your imagination drift to something even more delicate, a particle slipping through a wall as if it were made of mist. Quantum tunneling is the serene passage of a particle through a barrier it shouldn't be able to cross, a ghost-like drift through solid matter, like a whisper passing through a closed door. This peaceful leakage of tiny particles is the secret engine behind our sun's warm embrace, the reason hydrogen atoms can fuse together, releasing that soft, golden glow that filters through the curtains on a quiet morning. Without this gentle, almost magical escape, our world would be dark and cold, but instead the sun shines with a slow, steady luminescence, born of a phenomenon that feels like a lullaby of physics, a quiet sigh that gives us light. And that brings us to a truth that weaves through everything: wave-particle duality. It reveals that every speck of the universe, from a beam of light to the electrons in your own body, is not just a solid point, but also a flowing wave, a ripple spreading gently across a still pond. When left alone, matter doesn't fix itself in one place, it drifts like a soft, unseen current, a haze of probability. Only when we observe it, when we look with a quiet, curious gaze, does it settle into a definite shape, like a thought that crystallizes only when spoken softly into the night, a fleeting star that appears when you wish upon it. And finally, there's a gentle limit to our knowing, a soft boundary that keeps the universe from being fully grasped. The Heisenberg uncertainty principle teaches us that we cannot hold both the position and the momentum of a particle in our minds at once. The more we try to pin down where it rests, the more its movement becomes a blurred, floating mystery. It's as if the universe is playing a quiet game of hide and seek, allowing us just a glimpse, a fleeting shadow, before the rest slips away like a dream upon waking. This soft limit reminds us that some things are meant to be held in wonder, rather than in certainty, and as you drift towards sleep, perhaps that's a comforting thought. That mystery itself can be a gentle blanket, wrapping you in its quiet folds where curiosity becomes a peaceful, floating lullaby. Now, as we continue our quiet exploration, let these next mysteries settle around you like a soft blanket. Imagine a dream that feels utterly real while you're inside it. Vivid, fluid, full of impossible possibilities. That is the quantum world. A particle can exist in a shimmering haze of many places at once, like a soft note hovering in the air. But when that particle brushes against the world, a stray photon, a passing atom, something shifts. The dream begins to dissolve into the hard edges of waking life. This is quantum decoherence, the gentle fading of that strange fluid state into the familiar, solid reality we know. It's as if the universe has a soft, quiet breath that settles all things into place. In the quietest vacuum, where one might think nothing exists, there is a subtle presence. The Casimir effect reveals that two uncharged metal plates, placed extremely close together in a vacuum, will feel a tiny, tender force pushing them together. It is not gravity, not magnetism, but a pressure from the outside, exerted by virtual particles that flit into and out of existence in the surrounding space. Picture two calm leaves on a still pond, drifting ever so slightly toward each other, not because of a current, but because the water around them is alive with invisible ripples. That is the vacuum of space, a quiet sea of fleeting whispers, softly nudging the plates with a delicate, steady touch. Deep within every atom, there is a world held together by an invisible hand. The strong force, explored by quantum chromodynamics, is the gentlest yet most powerful glue imaginable. It binds quarks, those tiny fundamental specks, into protons and neutrons, using particles called gluons. And here, the word color takes on a new meaning, not a visible hue, but a property that flows between quarks like a hidden luminous exchange. Imagine an intricate, peaceful dance of pure connection where the dancers are forever linked, their motions creating the serene foundation of all matter. Every solid thing you touch, every quiet moment, rests upon this silent, colorful bond, a stable harmony at the heart of the universe. Now, let's turn our gaze to the edge of scale itself, the Planck length. It is a distance so unimaginably tiny that if you were to shrink a human down to the size of a grain of sand, and then keep shrinking until the grain of sand became as vast as a galaxy, you would still not have reached the Planck length. At this almost mythical boundary, the smooth fabric of space-time begins to soften and blur. Geometry loses its crispness, and the universe reveals itself as a shimmering, foamy sea of energy. It is a place where the very notion of here and there becomes a gentle, undulating suggestion. As you drift, you might imagine that deepest layer of reality as a quiet, silvery ocean, forever rippling with the faintest, most ancient whispers of existence. And in that vast, dark quiet of empty space, something wondrous stirs. Virtual particles, fleeting pairs of matter and antimatter, blink into being for the briefest of moments, only to meet again and vanish. They are like tiny fireflies in an eternal summer night, their glow too brief to catch, yet together they fill the void with a hidden hum. These ghost-like appearances remind us that what we call emptiness is actually a deep, dynamic silence, a gentle energy that never truly rests. It is a comforting thought as you lie here, that even the darkest, quietest places are woven with whispers of creation, softly fluttering in and out of the fabric of reality. Hey, still awake? That's perfectly fine. These ideas are best savored in that hazy space between sleep and wonder. If you're still drifting with me, there are many more of these quiet revelations to explore together. If this gentle wandering has soothed you, alike helps other night owls find their way here. Imagine two tiny particles, twin souls that have danced together in the heart of a star or in the silent depths of space. Quantum entanglement is a gentle, invisible thread connecting them, so that no matter how far they drift across galaxies, across the vast cosmic ocean, they remain softly linked. When something stirs one particle, the other feels it immediately, as if they are floating in a shared, timeless embrace, free from the constraints of distance. This quiet connection suggests that beneath the surface of reality, the universe might be a dreamlike tapestry, every part whispering to every other in a silent, loving language, a lullaby woven into the fabric of being. Now, consider another quiet wonder of the quantum world. Quantum tunneling allows a particle to softly drift through a barrier that logic says should be impassable. It is as if the particle simply fades through a wall, like a ghost of possibility appearing on the other side through a quiet, probabilistic miracle. There is no forceful breaking, no sudden motion, just a quiet, patient dissolving and reforming, as gentle as mist passing through a forest of solid trees. This whispers that solidity itself might be more of a dream than we ever imagined. In the deep quiet of your own room as you drift towards sleep, you might feel the walls around you shimmer with that same gentle uncertainty. A soft reminder that boundaries are perhaps nothing more than a quiet suggestion. In the realm of superposition, a tiny particle becomes a floating cloud of what could be, existing in many states at once. Picture it as a silent dancer, spinning not in one spot, but in a blur of all possible positions, a haze of gentle potential, waiting. It only settles into a single peaceful reality when it is softly observed, as if the universe itself holds its breath until a loving glance brings stillness. This quiet mystery reveals that observation is a tender act of creation, shaping the dream from the formless sea of possibility. Wave-particle duality then shows us that light and matter are woven from a more delicate thread. A beam of moonlight is both a stream of tiny jewels and a soft, spreading swell of ocean waves, drifting through the void. This suggests that the entire universe is a gentle vibration, a quiet tide of being, where every solid thing is also a flowing song. It is a truth that hums just below the threshold of our waking mind, a peaceful refrain that everything is both still and in motion at once. And finally, the Heisenberg uncertainty principle offers a soft veil over all this knowing. It tells us that there is a tender limit to what we can grasp. The more we try to pin down a particle's position, the more its momentum dissolves into a quiet, shimmering haze of mystery. It is like trying to hold a moonbeam. The tighter you reach, the more it slips into a gentle blur of motion. A soft secret the universe keeps, reminding us that not all truths need to be captured. Some are meant to remain, peacefully, in the midst of the unknown. Rest now, as these quiet truths dance softly into your dreams. Close your eyes now, and let your mind drift into the quiet spaces between thoughts. Imagine the universe not as a firm, solid thing, but as a delicate and shimmering dream. Consider the strange world of the quantum, where tiny particles live in a state of pure possibility. They can be in many places at once, like a melody not yet played. But when this fragile world touches the warm, humming environment around us, a gentle process begins. It is called quantum decoherence. Imagine a thought just before you wake, ethereal and bright with promise, and then as consciousness rises, it melts into the single memory of the morning. This transition is like a waking dream, where the possibilities of the quantum realm softly fade, dissolving into the one steady reality we feel. And then there is the emptiness of space, which is never truly empty, deep in a perfect vacuum where all matter is removed. Quantum fluctuations ripple and shimmer, like a silent sea of tiny, unseeable waves. Now imagine two mirror-smooth metal plates, placed so incredibly close that only the quietest whispers of this sea can exist between them. There is a soft, pressing force, a ghostly touch born from the void itself. This is the Casimir effect, a gentle nudge from nothingness, reminding us that even silence hums with a delicate and unseen life. Look deeper now, inside the heart of every atom, where protons and neutrons rest, and inside them, tinier still, are the quarks. These quarks are bound by a force so steady, so constant, it is called the strong force. Quantum chromodynamics, a name like a distant poem, describes this bond that holds them in small, harmonious groups. And here is the quiet wonder. Quarks are never found alone. They always drift together in pairs or trios, like stars in a silent, eternal constellation, never wishing to be apart. From these tiny groups, we drift outwards to consider the very fabric of light and energy. There is a number, so small, so fundamental, it is almost nothing and everything at once. It is called Planck's constant. This tiny number defines the smallest possible packet of energy, the soft, indivisible whisper of light itself. Imagine a staircase of light, each step so small you could never see it, yet it carries the whole weight of creation. Every ray of sunshine, every glow from a distant star, is made of these discrete whispers drifting through the universe. It tells us that reality at its deepest roots is not a continuous stream, but a gentle rhythm of tiny, graceful steps. And finally, let your mind sink into the deepest, blackest vacuum, where even the concept of light seems lost. Here, in this seeming nothingness, the final dance unfolds. Virtual particles, fleeting pairs of matter and antimatter, bloom into existence like tiny, ephemeral flowers. They emerge from the silent void, twirl for a heartbeat, and then dissolve back into the nothingness from which they came. This happens endlessly, everywhere, a rhythmic, pulsing ballet, filling the empty spaces with a subtle, invisible glow. The universe is never truly still. It breathes with these quiet, temporary lives, dreaming itself into being. And as you rest, know that you are cradled in this gentle, hidden pulse, the quiet heartbeat of all existence. In the quiet world of the very small, quantum entanglement reveals a deep and mysterious connection. Imagine two tiny particles, born together in a single moment, and then gently drifting apart across the endless fabric of the universe. No matter how vast the distance becomes across galaxies, across light years, they remain intimately linked, sharing a single, unified existence. When one particle is softly observed, its partner instantly reflects that change, as if they are moving together in a beautiful, silent dance. It's a reminder that even across the widest separations, there can be a hidden unity, a quiet bond that transcends space itself. Now, drifting further into this dreamlike realm, we encounter the gentle mystery of quantum superposition. Envision a tiny particle, not fixed in one place or one state, but existing in many forms all at once, like a gentle dream holding infinite potentials. It's only when our observation touches it, as soft as a whisper, that it settles into one peaceful position. This is like a cloud of becoming, drifting silently until it chooses a moment to rest, hinting at a reality where many paths are woven together, waiting for that quiet glance to bring one into focus. And from this we come to wave-particle duality, which unveils the fluid nature at the heart of existence. Light and matter can behave like quiet ripples spreading across a still pond, and yet also as tiny, focused points of presence. This means energy can drift as a wave, expanding softly into space, while still embodying the solidity of a particle. Imagine a moonbeam shimmering on water. It's a continuous flow, but also countless individual photons, each a small world of its own, reminding us that things are often more nuanced than they appear, holding multiple truths in a serene balance. Another quiet wonder is quantum tunneling, where a particle passes through barriers that seem impassable. Think of a soft, silver mist, drifting silently through a closed door, not breaking it, but simply flowing through the tiny spaces, emerging on the other side unchanged. In the quantum realm, a particle can do just that. It passes through barriers as if they were mere shadows. This effortless movement speaks to the hidden doors that might exist in the fabric of reality, always open for those tiny, wandering travelers. Finally, the uncertainty principle, shared gently by Werner Heisenberg, offers a beautiful boundary to our knowing. It suggests that we cannot pin down both the exact location and the movement of a tiny particle at the same time. There's always a soft blur, a quiet secret held back, like trying to see a firefly in the dark. You might catch its glow, but not its precise path. This inherent limit creates a peaceful mystery, reminding us that the universe keeps some things hidden, wrapped in a gentle, shimmering veil. And perhaps in that not knowing, there's a quiet wisdom, allowing the cosmos to breathe and remain wild and free. Imagine, if you will, a quiet space, so still that even the smallest things begin to speak in whispers. In the heart of the quantum world, there is a state of being where tiny particles forget they are separate. They move in a perfect rhythmic harmony, a silent dance where many become one unified wave. This is called quantum coherence, a gentle synchronization that feels almost like a lullaby sung by the universe itself. It is this very harmony that allows us to build the most precise atomic clocks, timekeepers that tick not with a frantic beat, but with a steady, calming accuracy, measuring the slow drift of eons without ever raising their voice. Imagine two metal plates floating in a perfect vacuum, a space so empty we might think nothing was there at all. But the void holds a secret. When you bring those plates incredibly, impossibly close, something soft awakens. The floating energy of emptiness itself, a gentle humming vitality that fills all of space, begins to push them together. This is the Casimir effect, a quiet proof that what we call nothing is actually a vast, peaceful ocean of subtle presence. The emptiness is not silent. It whispers with the most delicate pressure, a feather-light touch from the dark, reminding us that even the void is alive with a deep, slow breath. And from that same quiet ocean, little ripples come and go. Virtual particles are like dreamers blinking in and out of being. They flicker delicate pairs of matter and antimatter that bloom into existence for a fraction of a heartbeat, and then softly vanish, returning to the nothing from which they came. They are the quiet, invisible shimmer that ripples throughout the entire cosmos, a flickering fabric of almost being that never stays long enough to disturb the peace. They appear and dissolve so gently, like a thought you have just on the edge of sleep before it drifts away into the dark. All of this soft activity is measured by a tiny, sacred number called Planck's constant. It's a whisper, a mere wisp of a value that defines the scale of this hidden world. This little number ensures that energy is never a chaotic stream, never a jolt, but rather, it is delivered in the softest of packets, like tiny, discrete gifts called quanta. Thanks to this constant, the energy of the universe flows in a measured, rhythmic pulse, like the slow, steady breathing of the cosmos itself. It's a lullaby of tiny portions, ensuring that everything moves with a dreamlike, measured grace, never rushing, never loud. And finally, there is a thought experiment, a gentle puzzle to ponder as you drift. Imagine a cat, hidden away in a box, in a state of both sleep and wakefulness, both and neither at the same time. This is Schrödinger's invitation to imagine a world of floating probabilities, where everything remains in a state of quiet potential, a blur of possibilities that hasn't yet chosen its form. The universe, it suggests, rests in a dreamy haze until the softest observation is made. Until then, everything simply floats. Between being and not being, a gentle superposition of all that could be, just like you, now. Floating on the edge of thought, drifting in the quiet hum of the void, filled with the steady, peaceful pulse of a universe that whispers you to sleep. Picture two tiny specks of light, born together in a quiet moment of creation. From then on, they are bound by a gentle, invisible connection that no distance can undo. It's as if they share a single soul, no matter if they drift to opposite ends of the universe. When something softly nudges one particle, its partner responds in the very same instant, a silent echo across the void. Albert Einstein spoke of this with a soft smile, calling it spooky action at a distance, a tender strangeness that reminds us how deeply intertwined everything truly is. And in that quiet bond, there is a feeling of unbroken togetherness, like two sleeping minds dreaming the same dream. In the still, quiet world of quantum superposition, a single particle can be everywhere and nowhere, all at once. Imagine a tiny seed of light floating through a mist of possibilities, existing as a blur of many paths until the moment we gently look. Only then, with the softest touch of observation, does it choose one place to rest, like a feather settling onto a lake's surface. Before that, it is a cloud of maybes, a peaceful dream of all that could be. It's as though the universe itself holds its breath, waiting to see which reality will bloom. And in that dreamlike state, nothing is certain, nothing is fixed, just a quiet hum of potential. Quantum tunneling allows a tiny particle to slip through solid walls, not by force, but by a soft, ghostly glide. Imagine it as a phantom hush passing through a wall of stone, leaving no crack, no sound. This silent miracle is what makes our sun shine with a warm and steady glow. Deep inside, hydrogen atoms drift through energy barriers they should not cross, merging gently to release a tender, nurturing light. Without this quiet act of trespass, the sun would be cold, and our world would sleep in endless night. It's like a lover's whisper finding its way through a closed door, a secret passage that the universe keeps hidden. This soft, dreamlike passage is a quiet secret woven into the fabric of everything. In the great cosmic dance, nothing is only one thing. Every speck of existence is both a solid grain and a flowing wave of energy. Think of light, it rushes through space like a gentle river of ripples, yet when you catch it, it arrives as tiny single packages called photons. It's as if the ocean could appear as a single drop, then as a rolling swell, all depending on how you gaze upon it. This gentle paradox whispers that reality is softer than we ever imagined, a fluid dream where everything is both still and moving. So next time you see a beam of moonlight, remember it is both a flowing stream and a rain of quiet pearls. There is a soft, beautiful limit to what we can know. The more we try to pin down where a particle rests, the less we can sense how it is drifting, how it is dancing. It is not a fault of our instruments, but a gentle truth of nature. Position and momentum are like two melodies that cannot be played clearly at once. If you focus on one, the other fades into a peaceful blur. This uncertainty is not a lack, but a tender reminder that the cosmos loves mystery, leaving a quiet space for wonder. And at the smallest scales, the world remains a soft watercolor of probability. never a sharp photograph. That fuzzy boundary is the universe keeping its secrets warm. Imagine for a moment a dream you once had. A dream so vivid and strange, filled with impossible colors and floating sensations. Quantum decoherence is very much like the moment that dream begins to fade. It's the soft, quiet process where the shimmering, fragile possibilities of a quantum particle just dissolve. As a particle touches the wider world, its many potential paths gently settle into a single, definite state. It's a tender transition, a letting go of magic, as the deep slumber of potential gives way to the quiet, stable reality we see when we open our eyes. Now, let your mind drift to a vast, silent ocean. Not of water, but of pure emptiness. In the complete stillness of a perfect vacuum, between two tiny, uncharged metal plates placed impossibly close, a quiet force stirs. This is the Casimir effect. Outside that narrow gap, a soft storm of ghostly particles flickers in and out of existence, but inside, the space is too tight. The gentle push from the outside world nudges the plates together, a silent embrace born from the very fabric of nothingness. It reminds us that even the void is full of a quiet, pressing life. If you drift deeper, down past the atom, past the electrons, you'll find the heart of the proton, a tiny, close-knit family of particles called quarks. Quantum chromodynamics is the story of their soft, colorful dance. They are held not by a rigid chain, but by a warm, flowing current of energy called gluons. These particles act like invisible, elastic threads, binding the quarks in a gentle, unbreakable embrace. You could almost imagine a soft, humming vibration, a quiet song of connection that forms the very foundation of everything solid, a deep, warm light holding the heart of matter together. Let that feeling of deep connection carry you now to the very edge of what we can imagine. The Planck length is a measurement so small it's a quiet lullaby for the thinking mind. It's the smallest possible distance in the universe, a scale where the smooth, silky fabric of space and time begins to quiver. If you could look that closely, the universe wouldn't be a calm pond, but a soft, shimmering foam of quantum energy, a gentle effervescence at the foundation of all reality. At this depth, the very concept of distance becomes a warm, hazy mystery. And finally, at the very bottom of this peaceful sea, where all heat has been drawn away and the temperature falls to the ultimate quiet zero, a hum remains. This is zero-point energy. It is the soft, eternal vibration that reminds us that absolute stillness is just a beautiful dream. Even in the deepest cosmic winter, the universe doesn't freeze into silence. It remains a cradle of quiet, persistent motion, a ghostly whisper of a lullaby that has been singing since the very beginning of time. A soft, eternal energy, cradling everything in its gentle, unseen hum. Are your thoughts feeling heavy now, soft and still? That's a wonderful sign. You're drifting right along the edge where the quantum world blurs into dreams. You don't need to follow the words anymore. Just let this gentle hum of ideas be a cushion for your consciousness, floating, dissolving. I'll keep telling the story. You can just rest. Imagine two tiny particles, born together in the heart of a distant star. They drift apart across the vast, silent ocean of the cosmos, yet remain connected in a way that defies all distance. Albert Einstein, with a gentle smile, once called this a spooky action at a distance, a soft wonder that challenges how we think information travels. It is as if these particles are whispering secrets to each other through some invisible thread. This peaceful connection feels almost like a memory of the star that birthed them, never fading, no matter how far they roam across the endless velvet of space. A silent knowing that unites them forever. Now let your thoughts float to the strange, dreamlike state of superposition, where a particle doesn't choose just one place or path. It exists in a soft haze of possibility, like a melody not yet played, or a story waiting to be told, a soft, unfinished poem. It is only when we gently look, when we observe, that the haze settles into a single, quiet truth. Much like a dream that, upon waking, crystallizes into a single memory,
while all the other possible dreams melt softly away into the silent void. This is the gentle nature of quantum reality, a dream within a dream, where existence is a floating dance of might be and could be.
In the serene world of quantum tunneling, barriers become nothing more than mist. A particle can drift through a wall of energy as though it were a ghost, slipping past something that should have been impossible. This subtle, almost secret passage is what keeps our sun glowing with its warm, steady light. Deep inside, hydrogen atoms fuse in a slow, rhythmic dance, because they sometimes glide through the barriers that would keep them apart. Without this quiet miracle, the sun would be dark, and our world, forever cold, would drift in an endless, silent winter. This delicate, hidden movement is the quiet heartbeat of our star, a gentle pulse that sustains everything we know. And then there is the beautiful duality, the gentle truth that everything is both solid and flowing. Light and matter, they are like soft ripples spreading across a midnight pond, moving out, overlapping, creating patterns of silent harmony. You might imagine a particle as a tiny pebble, and yet also as a wave that knows no single shore. This wave-particle duality tells us that the universe is not as rigid as our waking minds believe, but a place where boundaries blur and all things whisper together. It is a lullaby of existence, a soft reminder that we are all at once anchored and adrift. Allow this notion to sing you to sleep, a quiet lullaby of all things. Finally, let us drift toward a famous thought, the quiet paradox of Schrödinger's cat. In this gentle imagining, a cat rests inside a box, and until we open it, the cat exists in two states at once. It is a soft, drifting idea, not meant to startle, but to show how the quantum world plays with reality. The cat is both asleep and awake, both here and there, suspended in a dream that only ends when curiosity lifts the lid. And so, we are left with a feeling of wonder that perhaps in some way all possibilities exist until we choose to see. This gentle paradox reminds us that reality is a canvas where many stories wait to be told, and so as the night deepens, drift gently among these quantum whispers, knowing that you are part of this beautiful, mysterious dance. Let us drift now into the quiet heart of the very small, where the rules of our waking world begin to soften and blur. Imagine a tiny particle, floating alone, holding within it a shimmering cloud of possibilities. This is the quantum realm, where things can be in many states at once, like a gentle, unfocused thought. But when this little particle meets the world around it, a stray photon, a warm molecule, something changes. It slowly, softly, loses that magical haze. This is called quantum decoherence. The delicate web of possibilities gently unravels, settling into a single, steady state. It is why the table beneath your hand feels solid and still, why the moon keeps its quiet course, while deep within, nature remains a sea of gentle, endless maybe. And in that sea there is a secret held close by the universe itself. The Heisenberg uncertainty principle tells us something beautiful. We can never fully grasp a particle's place and its path at the same time. The more tenderly we try to pinpoint where it rests, the more its motion becomes a soft, blurred dream, slipping from our knowing. It is as if nature draws a thin, quiet veil over one truth whenever we try to look too closely at the other. So the smallest dancers of reality move in a constant, gentle haze, forever keeping their inner rhythms hidden from our precise, measuring minds. This hidden dance holds a strange and potent gift. Human hands have learned to coax it into something new, something called quantum computing. Here, tiny bits of information, known as qubits, are not forced to be just a 0 or a 1. They can be both at once, like a leaf floating halfway down a stream, in a graceful expansion of what is possible. These machines must rest in places of profound silence and colder than the space between stars, so that these fragile floating states can endure. In that deep, chilled quiet, they trace answers to mysteries that would take the old loud world of computers aeons to unravel, solving them in a single, peaceful breath. Now, let your thoughts wander to an empty place, a perfect vacuum, dark and silent. Picture two thin, uncharged metal plates facing each other so close that they almost touch. Even here, in this profound stillness, something stirs. This is the Casimir effect. All around them, the vacuum itself is not truly empty, it ripples with tiny, soft fluctuations like the surface of a sleeping pond. Between those plates, only the gentlest ripples can fit, so a faint, outward pressure pushes the plates towards one another into a slow, silent embrace. It is the whisper of nothingness drawing them together, a quiet, attractive force born from pure, shimmering emptiness. And deep within that emptiness, even when all heat has faded and all movement has ceased, there remains a final, soft hum. This is called zero-point energy, the lowest, most gentle lullaby of existence. It means that absolute stillness is never truly still. The vacuum of space, vast and cold, is not a frozen void, but is filled with a shimmering, invisible warmth, a quiet breath of energy that can never be stilled. It is the universe's own soft, eternal heartbeat, murmuring beneath every frozen star and every drifting thought. Let that quiet hum cradle you now as you float deeper into rest. Imagine two tiny particles, born together in the silent heart of a distant star, then gently floating apart across the vast, deep ocean of the cosmos. No matter how far they travel, they remain connected in a quiet, invisible embrace, as if they are still one being. When something softly touches one particle, its partner, even a universe away, responds instantly, sharing a single, timeless existence. It is a gentle reminder that in this grand, peaceful universe, nothing is ever truly alone, and every distant light is held in a tender, hidden bond. Light and matter, the very fabric of our world, have a quiet secret. They can exist as both a tiny, solid point and a soft, flowing wave, all at once. Imagine a single electron, not as a hard sphere, but as a gentle cloud of possibilities, drifting serenely through space. It moves in all directions at the same time, like a tender breeze spreading through a moonlit garden, only choosing a single path when we softly observe its ethereal dance. In that quiet observation, the cloud becomes a star, a single point of light in the vastness. In the deep silence of the subatomic world, a particle can do something quite magical. It can pass through a barrier that should be impassable, much like a gentle ghost drifting through a closed door. This quiet phenomenon, called quantum tunneling, is the reason our sun glows with a warm, steady light, as it allows atoms to fuse together in the serene heart of a star. Every soft beam of sunlight you feel is a whisper from this hidden dance, a slow, eternal embrace of particles in the deep silence of space. Consider a tiny quantum system, existing in a state of peaceful superposition, where it holds all possible outcomes at once, like a coin spinning in a slow, eternal rotation. It is both heads and tails simultaneously, not yet committed to one reality, drifting in a dreamy balance of being and becoming. Only when we gently nudge it does it softly settle into the singular world we know, like a feather coming to rest on a still lake. The ripples fading into quiet stillness. The Heisenberg uncertainty principle gently reveals a soft, inherent blurriness woven into the fabric of reality. We can never know both the exact position and the gentle momentum of a particle with perfect clarity, as if the universe itself insists on keeping a quiet, intimate secret. The smallest building blocks of nature always hold a tender mystery, floating beyond our grasp, which is a comforting thought as you drift off to sleep, knowing that some truths are meant to be simply felt, not fully understood. Now, gently, let your mind settle into the quiet spaces between thoughts. Imagine a vivid dream, rich with color and feeling, slowly fading as morning light touches the edges of your consciousness. This is much like quantum decoherence, where a delicate quantum system, so full of mysterious possibilities, softly blends into the steady, familiar rhythm of the world around it. It loses its strange, shimmering nature not because something forces it to, but simply because it can no longer remain apart, like a secret whispered into a crowd and becoming just another sound.
In the stillness between heartbeats, consider two tiny, uncharged metallic plates placed unimaginably close together in a perfect vacuum. Even where nothing seems to exist, there is a gentle stirring, a quiet fluctuation of energy that fills all space. Outside the plates, this subtle hum is more crowded, more lively, while between them it is calmer, more restrained. And so a soft pulling force arises, pressing the plates together as if the universe itself is breathing them into an embrace. This is the Casimir effect, a tender nudge from the hidden fabric of reality.
Deep within that fabric, empty space is never truly empty. Flickers of energy, called virtual particles, bloom and vanish in the briefest of moments, like tiny shimmering bubbles rising from a silent sea. They drift into existence, pair with their opposites, and dissolve back into nothingness so quickly that we might never know they were there. And yet their quiet dance fills the void with a hidden vitality, a secret humming that sustains the very structure of all things. Journey deeper still into the heart of the atom, where quarks nestle together to form protons and neutrons. Quantum chromodynamics speaks of a soft, colorful force that binds them, not colors we can see with our eyes, but gentle labels, red, green, and blue. These charges weave a warmth that keeps the nucleus stable, a quiet, cradling embrace that holds the building blocks of matter in a serene, eternal dance. It is a hidden palette, painting the foundation of everything we know in a language of soft bonds and steady light. And at the very edge of the measurable, we find the Planck length. This is the smallest possible whisper of distance, where the smooth fabric of space begins to unravel. Imagine a flat, still map suddenly becoming a soft, grainy foam, a gentle undulation of quantum energy. Here, the universe ceases to be a rigid grid and instead becomes a drifting, flowing sea, a place where our everyday notions of length dissolve into a quiet, shimmering dream. So rest here in this gentle ocean of the infinitesimal and let the tides of space carry you softly into sleep. Let the quiet wonders of the universe wash over you now. Picture two tiny particles, far across the vast dark, linked in a secret, silent dance. When one stirs ever so softly, the other stirs too, instantly, as if distance were just a dream. They drift together in perfect, invisible harmony. Now imagine a single particle, floating not in one place, but in a cloud of gentle maybes. It exists in many states at once, like whispered possibilities until we look. Then it settles, softly, choosing where to rest. And there is a quiet magic in the sun, keeping us warm. A particle meets a wall it cannot climb, yet somehow drifts through, ghost-like and serene. This slow, subtle slipping through is what lets the sun glow with its steady light. Let your thoughts soften into the deep truth that everything is both a ripple and a point of light. Light itself is a rhythmic wave, a gentle lapping on a cosmic shore, and also a tiny shimmering jewel. It's all in how you see it. Finally, know that the universe itself holds a soft blur, a tender uncertainty. We cannot quite pin down where a thing is and where it's going. And that's not a flaw, it's a grace. The quantum world keeps its gentle mystery, forever dancing just out of sharp focus. Let yourself drift in that beautiful, quiet blur. Sleep, sleep in the softness of all this unknown. Imagine a quiet box, sealed and still. Inside, a sleeping cat drifts in a gentle paradox. It is both dreaming and awake, held in a soft, unfathomable state, until the moment the lid is lifted. This strange stillness fades like a vivid dream melting into morning light. The quantum world touches the familiar, and its mystery dissolves into the quiet air we breathe. There is a tiny, hidden number, the Planck constant that whispers reality is not a smooth stream. Energy arrives in delicate drops, like warm rain touching a dark, still lake, one soft ripple at a time. In the deep silence of space, phantom particles drift, they bloom from nothing and vanish in a fleeting shimmer. Their gentle dance fills the void with a quiet, hidden light. Deep within the heart of the atom, invisible threads of color bind the smallest things. The strong force holds them in a warm, steady embrace, keeping the core of matter peaceful, stable, and still. Imagine two tiny particles, so deeply connected that distance means nothing. No matter how far they drift apart, a gentle change in one is mirrored in the other, as if they're sharing a whispered secret across the vast, silent void. It's a bond beyond space, warm and still. A particle can exist in a cloud of possibility, floating in many states at once, until the softest observation settles it into one peaceful path. Like a dream hovering, waiting for the mind to choose, so delicate and hushed. Quietly, a particle slips through a solid barrier like mist drifting through a wall. No climb, no effort, just a silent emergence on the other side, where the barrier was only a gentle suggestion. Everything in our universe dances as both a solid grain and a flowing wave. An electron can be a tiny floating sphere, or a soft ripple spreading across a still, midnight pond, depending on how we look. Such a tender duality, like the world breathing. There is a soft limit to what we can know. We can sense where a particle is drifting or how fast it moves, but never both with perfect precision. It leaves a warm layer of mystery in the fabric of reality, a quiet reminder that not everything needs to be known. As your thoughts gently unspool into the quiet of the night, listen. The universe has a softness at its edges, quantum decoherence. The quiet fading of fragile quantum states as they meet the world. Imagine a particle like a silent bell ringing with many notes at once, every possibility shimmering, but when it brushes against the air, the warmth of a photon. Those notes slowly hush. The noise becomes one pure tone. This is how the strange magic of the quantum realm gently dissolves into the steady, familiar world, the one your sleepy mind now rests upon. Just as your waking thoughts now blur into dream, the universe softly chooses one path from many, and all becomes still. Even in absolute cold, total silence, space is not empty. There, in the deepest dark, a subtle hum persists, a warm, rhythmic breath. This is zero-point energy, the discovery that the vacuum cradles a faint, eternal vibration. It's the tender heartbeat of reality, quiet and constant. You can almost feel it now, that gentle, underlying note humming beneath the silence of your room. A soft blanket woven from the fabric of existence, holding you as you drift. The Casimir effect. Two uncharged metal plates, placed hair close in a vacuum, feel a mysterious, soft press. The void around them is alive with tiny, fluttering energies, but because the gap is so small, fewer fluctuations fit inside, while outside, they dance freely. This imbalance creates a gentle, irresistible force, pushing the plates together like a sleepy embrace. It's the universe's own quiet way of drawing things nearer. A lullaby of closeness, a reminder that even emptiness can bring peace. You can almost sense that tender pressure now, urging your own thoughts into calm unity. Deep inside protons and neutrons, quarks drift, carrying a color charge. Not colors we see, but a beautiful language, red, green, blue, describing the strong, warm glue that binds them. This force, the strongest in all nature, holds the nucleus together with a tenderness beyond imagining, a constant, quiet hug. In every atom of your resting body, these tiny lights weave a silent, protective basket, a hidden warm light that never goes out, keeping the core of you safe and sound. And beneath all this, a tiny number, Planck's constant, marks the grain of the quantum realm. Energy doesn't flow like water, but in soft, discrete steps, like your own gentle breaths. Each step a peaceful quantum, preventing the universe from sliding into chaos. This quiet drumbeat keeps the cosmic dance steady, serene, a lullaby of order. So now, as your breathing slows, let the rhythm of the cosmos carry you into deep, dreamless rest. These are the quiet truths that hum beneath the world, holding you now like a gentle tide. Sleep, and let them carry you. Across the silent universe, two paired particles drift in a quiet embrace, each mirroring the other's subtle spin as if bound by a tender, invisible love letter woven into the fabric of reality. A particle dreams in a soft haze of possibilities, resting in many places at once until a gentle gaze coaxes it to choose one peaceful moment to bloom into existence. Like a phantom thread weaving through stone, a particle drifts softly through an impassable wall. This silent trespass is what lights the sun, a warm, golden glow born from a quiet, impossible passage. Everything is both a ripple on a still pond and a solitary pearl. An electron flows like a calm river, or rests as a shimmering bead of light, depending on the tenderness of our watchful eyes. Know exactly where a particle sleeps, and its dreamlike momentum slips into a soft, unknowable haze, the cosmos, holding a quiet secret close to its ancient heart. A vivid dream dissolves slowly in the soft light of morning. The strange, floating magic of the quantum world fades, and the familiar world gently returns. A qubit drifts in a state of 0 and 1 and both at once, information floating through countless paths, solving ancient puzzles with a quiet, rhythmic grace. Two uncharged metal plates in the deep vacuum are drawn together by the soft fluctuations of empty space, a quiet, humming energy that fills the silent void. Even at absolute 0, a faint, lingering vibration remains. The lowest possible energy, a constant and peaceful whisper that hums through every corner of the cosmos. Tiny, temporary ripples in the fabric of existence. These soft quantum fluctuations are thought to have guided the slow, graceful unfolding of the early universe. Imagine a quiet heartbeat, the smallest pulse you can think of, not in a chest, but woven into the fabric of reality itself. That is Planck's constant. This tiny fundamental number defines the gentle scale of the quantum world, a peaceful rule ensuring that energy doesn't flow in a wild rush, but is delivered in small, discrete, and delicate packets that scientists call quanta. It's a soft underlying rhythm, a quiet hum that regulates the smallest dances of all matter and light, a hidden music too faint to hear, but felt in every atom, quietly holding the universe in a gentle, steady embrace. And with that, I think that's enough for tonight. Your mind has wandered softly through a hidden world, and now it's time to let those thoughts drift away like leaves on a slow stream. If this journey into the quiet heart of things helped you find your rest, please leave a gentle like, and if you subscribe, I'll be here, a quiet voice in the dark, whenever you need me. Good night, sleep deeply, and remember the tiny peaceful heartbeat that connects all things. It will still be here, humming softly, whenever you're ready to listen again. Rest now. Everything is exactly as it should be.